Hi Vlad, thank you for sending in your final essays. You've done really well, you've worked really hard. The corrections look amazing. Very good work there. Great way to improve. So this one is green energy, so there's a lot of vocabulary here which we can be using. So nowadays green energy is becoming more prevalent, so more used in both developed and developing countries. Some argue they reduce costs and are better for the environment. Others believe they're a threat. Discuss both views. Okay. These days, a major part of renewable energy resources turn to be more widespread in the modern world, whether in the developing or developed countries. Okay. For me, it feels like you've paraphrased this a bit too much. I mean, you're just using this. You're using the same words as in here. You can't do that. You have to put this in your own words. You have to show me you really understand the question. So these days, a major part of many countries' energy or total energy is supplied using renewable. Yeah, if you have that, it supplies using resources. Okay, so I know you've paraphrased widespread, more prevalent, which is great, but it doesn't really make sense. It has to make sense. This bit. A major part of many countries' total energy is supplied using renewable energy resources. Okay, such as solar or wind power. Okay, that is perfect for this first start. So I don't think you need that. Many experts debate that, or argue that, green energy saves costs and is safer for the. Yes, personally I firmly agree. Excellent, good. However, proponents of the other point of view, okay, but just even better, critics. So remember that one. Critics argue that green energy may consist of danger. Consist of danger for energy safeness. May present, I wouldn't consist of, maybe present dangers, plural, for energy safety. And it would be safety, not safeness. Energy safety. This essay will consider both views. Okay, good. That sorts out that introduction. I thought you might like to see an introduction from another essay, which I think is quite a good start for this one. So, given the rapid growth of the mechanization era, energy has become one of the most fundamental commodities of the 21st century. Some believe renewable energy sources could potentially threaten a country's sovereignty and integrity. So the sovereignty and integrity is their comment on security. You've talked about safety, which is absolutely great. You've absolutely understood it as well. This is just a different way. Whereas others defend its clean credentials. Clean credentials means, as you said, it saves costs and is safer. So that's how you've said that. It's just a different way of doing it. This essay will, okay? But it's very important that you have a strong first sentence, and this is quite a nice, strong sentence to start with. So, okay, on the one hand, renewable sources supporters advocate that. Now, you don't need that because you definitely don't need that, okay? Because you've already said, you've already said that in your intro. So that's just extra words. On the one hand, generating green energy, is usually more ecological, more sustainable, and brings no waste to the planet. Okay, although there's no doubt that the initial start-up or investment costs are high. So you have to acknowledge that part of the question, that it's expensive at the beginning. Okay. All mentioned, don't use that. So these natural resources replenish themselves, thus helping our planet to conserve fossil natural resources, which are finite resources. which are finite resources still used in factories for cars, power stations. So expand, Vlad. So you asked me how you're doing. So I think you are very nearly pushing this band 7. But the band 7 it's so difficult because you know your essay is divided into 4 sections. So there's task achievement, coherence and cohesion, grammatical range and accuracy, and vocabulary. So each 4 sections you need to score above 6.5. So you can get 6.5, 6.5 in 2 of those, and 7 in another 2 of those sections. But your essay is marked down to 6. Your essay is not marked up, which is very, very hard. That's why it's so difficult. So you need to get 7 in as many sections as you possibly can. So to get 7 in the task achievement, you need to expand this as much as you can. Expand this. This shows me you're answering the question. For example, wind may provide electricity to habitats via windmills. Therefore, it will be less, will cost less for the end users. I'm not sure that's helping your argument, that example. So you might say, for example, although costs have been high, countries such as Norway or such as Colombia or something now generate 25% of their overall power from electricity, from solar or from wind resources or something. So give me a real example in there. The trend is spread. Yeah, I think that's a bit repetitive. So I think here you're doing well here. You're saying what's good about these things, but then make your example an example of a country who successfully used it, and then you can say yes. This trend has spread. I'd almost put the trend has spread. I'd almost put this here, yeah, and then use your example of a particular country after that. I think that might flow better, that paragraph. Okay, but develop it more. Don't be worried about adding more words. Just don't repeat yourself. It's a little bit, you've got quite a few words that are a bit repetitive in here. On the other hand, yeah, but careful. I don't want you to talk about the danger of oil and gas. Yeah, I don't want you to talk about the danger of oil and gas. I want you here to be talking about the fact that the danger of solar is that it's not sunny. You could put solar panels everywhere, but if it's not sunny, then it's not going to be any good. You could put windmills everywhere, but if it's not windy, you've got no power. That's your danger. Yeah. So that's what you need to address, which you said, I think, somewhere up here. Oh, you talked about safety. Okay, but that's what they mean by safety. You may not have enough power, so there may be shortages. Okay, so don't talk about the dangers of oil and gas because we're talking about green energy. Go back to the question. When you do your planning, make sure you absolutely plan what you're going to say before you start writing. That paragraph isn't really relevant to the essay. So in conclusion, keeping in mind that obtaining green energy might that green energy might have more costs, more expensive costs than fossil fuels. All in all, less, absolutely. Okay, I think it's just this understanding of energy security, and I agree it's incredibly difficult. So what you mean by security here is having enough power, no shortages. Yeah, is what I think it means by security. Okay, so you've done a good essay there, Vlad, but I think really to get the band 7, we need to be absolutely absolutely answering the right question and really developing it as much as you can. Grammar, conditionals, really need to see a conditional sentence in here. Relative clauses, which are the clauses which add information. So green energy, which could be generated from numerous supplies, wind, that has been globally for more than 20 years. For example, this is your relative clause, which is adding information and expanding. So you could have that. Green energy has been developing, fine. But this is your relative clause, which grammatically I need to see and which adds information. So it works for you on the grammar points and on the development points. Okay. Your next door neighbour owns a small dog. Yes, sir and madam. Now, then your next door neighbour. Yeah. I don't think you'd call them sir and madam. Yeah. You probably know their name. So dear Mr. and Mrs. Yeah. Or this is green or dear Fred. You know, depending on how new you as well. I use with regards to solving noise disturbance, which I think from your flat upstairs, and that shows you're a neighbour. Okay, I'm a resident and live by your house. Okay, since we moved here from the other city with our toddlers, we've had to follow. So, present perfect, by the infant sleep schedule, to grow them, to allow them grow, or to encourage them to grow or develop, maybe even grow up. So to encourage them to grow up, and you don't need them because I put that healthy and happy. Unfortunately, these days we can't, so informal can't cope with this because of a barking dog, your barking dog. And it's so loud that none of the children oh dear, can fall asleep. None of the children can fall asleep at midday or at night time, whether at a midday nap or night time. Therefore, I wonder if, so you can be a little bit more friendly here. I mean, this is lovely, but it's very formal. So I would just go, I wonder if there is anything you could do to reduce the volume of the noise, and we would really appreciate that. I really like dogs, and I respect you as a neighbour. And solve. I hope you can find a solution to stop this interfering. Either this issue interfering with us, or this interfering as an adjective issue. I know a great vet down the road who is amazing with restless animals. I think you need to put in something here, just like a bit friendly, to suggest a solution. Okay. Yeah. Again, this is great, but it's a bit formal, and it's this idea of being your neighbour. Okay. So do call me anytime. Do call me any. Pop over. Yeah. Something a bit more friendly, I think. So you've gone super formal, but what I'm really wanting to see is this more neutral tone. Okay. But very, very nice work, Vlad. You've done well. Okay. As I say, I think you are very nearly there. But I think you need a little bit more work on the costume practice. Class one's looking good, so we want to be pushing on the vocab and on the grammar. You are able to buy an extra pack now. Most students do keep going with an extra pack just to give them a bit more practice before their exam. Keep building confidence. You have done amazingly. Well done.